All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and a very, very warm welcome to my kitchen because the topic is interesting today. It's about how cooking can actually be a whole learning process. So, today I'm alone with all my things of my kitchen. So, my khazana and me, and Pan and mom and dad. So, Pan the panda is looking for mom and dad, and he's hungry, all the time hungry. So into the kitchen he peeps. Mummy and daddy are not there, but he knows where are the goodies that they keep. But the goodies are really high. He cannot reach them even if he does try. Then he looks at the basket full of fruits and he sees bananas hanging to keep them fresh. He reaches them with a little stretch. For Pan, fruits are a special treat. Mummy never has to force him to eat. He loves all kinds of food. He loves vegetables, he loves milk, cheese, cereals, dal, and chawal too. He finds them all really nice. He loves dal and rice. Pan is an interesting little panda. He loves to eat pies and fries, but he eats them only sometimes. He loves it when there is something cooking and it's new. He loves to sort and peel and mash. He cleans up and sees that there is never any trash. He drinks plenty of water and loves to make lemonade. Today, this is what he is going to start with because that's what he just made. So he's in the kitchen and he loves to watch mom and dad cook. So come on and have a quick look. So, cooking time with all of us as a family, the Panda family is going to be cooking and learning. So, are we all ready for that? So, they're going to be sitting there and watching all of us, and we'll be watching them as they cook. So, introduce the children to the wonder of this beautiful treasure that you have with you, the kitchen. How many things can you learn? Today, when I was making my list, I realized that I haven't touched a part of what I could have done. So there is just so much more to do. And yes, we'll start with this and then we'll see where to go, right? So, how many aspects of development can the child, can we actually do with children with just something as routine as cooking? It's something which you do every day. It's something which, you need to do lunch, dinner, breakfast, tea, and in India, snacks and everything else. So, there is just so much to learn. So, the first thing that I feel that happens when you cook together is what we so importantly call the social emotional development. Just getting together, everybody passing things to everybody, getting the whole place organized, making a shopping list for the special recipe that you're going to cook at for that particular day, writing the recipe ingredients down first and then making the shopping list. These are little learning things that actually children can listen to. They may not be able to read when they are very young, but they definitely can understand that these are the ingredients, and then we go shopping to pick it up, and then we wash it, we clean it, we organize it, and then we all cook together. So setting the menu, setting the whole, and now the festival season is there, so you can imagine the amount of cooking we are all going to do. Include the children, even if they are very young, include them. Today my daughter was asking me, why so much of preparation. I said that it's not really so much of preparation. It is just that I have to recollect all the things I did with my child as a little baby. Small things like telling them jeera, soft, methi, salt, pepper, bowl, spoon, tablespoon, a quarter plate, full plate, and it's like a wonder for the child. So make it exciting, and it's so important. If you're baking a cake, tell them to add the ingredients, maybe one spoon of maida at a time or sugar at a time, whatever, whichever age group is capable of doing. Include them. I think that's what is really important because let them explore, help them enough to nudge them towards success, but don't ensure success. Even when you're doing simple recipes, make everything possible for them, but don't ensure the success. Let the children get the satisfaction. So when you say social emotional development, it means getting excited together as a family. It means feeling self-confident, the child slowly feeling self-confident. I think these 6, 7, 8 months when people didn't have help, and there were a lot of people who were caught in different parts of the country, where the moms were not at home, there was such a helplessness because people didn't know how to cook. I mean, just a simple meal to put together. Why should you not learn how to cook? And why should you feel that it's anything which only one kind of a person has to do? So very important that everybody has to cook together, and children actually have to see that happening. So I think that's one big thing that I feel cooking really does. It helps you to develop this nice sense of bonding. So happy social emotional development. Recipe बनाइए, घुमाइए बच्चों को, take them out. And something even as small as laying out a table, even if you start with giving them, so our first lesson, give them 6 spoons and see that one is different. And ask them, just lay out the table depending on how many people you have at home, and see, I hope they're all the same. I hope there's nothing different. So the child will actually spot it and come back to you. It can start with something as small as that, just as small as that. And that's their success, saying, oh my God, I found that spoon that was different. So this was cooking time happening and it was learning time happening. And I think that's what we need to grow together. So the social emotional development so important, the eye contact so important. Even if you have little babies, I remember when I had my baby in my arm, I would just keep cooking and keep naming everything. And when the child spoke, the child actually could speak all the words. So it's a huge, big growth of both the language and the whole bonding, etc. The coming week we are going to do lots of work with maths, but to start with, suppose we really need to start, uh, we'll look at uh, maths and learning. So starting with something as simple as big and small, something as simple as sorting big and small things. So even if you have potatoes, so tell them sort out the big potatoes separately, put the small potatoes separately, so size gets taken care of, right? You can actually tell them to make vegetable bags when you go shopping, when you come back. Tell them to sort and group the same kind of things. That's another very important lesson that they learn with maths, is sorting and grouping. So you can have sizes, you can have sorting and grouping. You can have counting so beautifully. I will do an activity. It's a simple activity which we find very. So these are little measuring spoons. You can actually tell them that let's make lemonade and you need 3 tablespoons or 2 tablespoons. So the child can actually take sugar, put in the spoon and count 1, 2, 3. And then say in one we are going to put sugar grains, and in the other we are going to put sugar which is powdered. So we can have powdered sugar, and we can have, so for powdered sugar we'll put 1 and 2 spoons. All right. Now that you've put 2 spoons of sugar, we are going to squeeze in the lemon. So just give them cut lemon. So there are certain things children can do, certain things you do for the children. But they can easily put the lemon in it and they can squeeze it. So these are little activities which will actually help them to have even the small motor development, a sequence, put the sugar, squeeze the lemon, understanding quantity. You can actually take a cup, a measuring cup, and say, okay, so fill it and see how much of water goes into the glass. So fill 1 cup of water and pour it. So do you think you'll need half more? So you can actually use just 1 cup and let them measure the half, or you can very easily give them the half measurement and say, now put half more. So we have 1.5 cups of water going into this. Wow. And now our glass is full. So we had an empty glass. What did we do? We put 1.5 cups of water. So 1 cup of water and half more. Is there something the child is learning? Is there something that the child is enjoying doing? And now let's put everything back that we used in place. So a place for everything, everything back in the place. Now when you teach the children to stir, mix it, stir it. Wow, this is mixed up. Now let's see the one with grains. How long is it going to take to mix? Oh my God, this is taking a little longer. Even simple observation works. It really, really works. So you can call this a science activity, you call it a maths activity because you can do a sequence with it. So you did a sequence, you put the sugar, you put the lemon, you measured the water, you counted the number of spoons of how many spoons of sugar did you do, and then so important is that you taste it. So cooking is among the few activities which actually activates all the senses. Normally in activities, the taste is never activated. But when you do cooking, even that is activated. So what a beautiful time for the children to learn. So this little lemonade. Now suppose you want the child to share. We talked about social emotional development, right? Now you say, oh my God, this is still not. So what was this? I can see the grains of sugar still. So it has not really become a solution. Slowly, depending on the age of the children, you can use the correct language. All right. Maybe not for very young children, but for slightly older children. Now, one activity where you say, okay, we have only one glass and we are two of you. So would you share it? So the child pours it. So there is a small muscle development and sharing. The child learns how to give away a part of what actually was made for her or him. So a small, such a mundane activity, but how beautifully it lends itself to a whole learning process. I also kept a little. I kept the small, thin, lemon rims because that you can use for finger squeezing. A child will find it difficult to squeeze a half because that kind of pressure the child is not ready for. But this kind of finger squeezing with the fingers is perfectly fine. Have the children to wash their hands. A perfect time to teach them hygiene. Their hands have to be washed, you have to clean them. I think no better time to do all of that. And now that we're getting ready for we did the counting, we did, and then you can taste it and say, can you add one more? Can you add one more spoon to it? Can you add one more spoon of sugar to it? Can you add a few more drops of lemon juice to it? So more addition. There's so many little things that are happening. We don't have to quantify what exactly we have done, but imagine if it is done with the correct sequence, with the number of spoons of sugar, with filling in, pouring it, having a process to do it, and follow a similar process each time the child is making that particular thing. So processing is a very important part in the child's head. It helps the child to sequence things in a particular way. So don't do one day sugar first and one day lemon first. Do it in a way that the child makes it into a little process, because for children, that's a very, very important part of it. So I'm putting away the lemonade. I can actually have another sip. It's quite nice. So today, instead of having chai with you, I'm having my lemonade with you. Give me a minute to leave my tray and come. Yes, yeah. So it's family time, and today probably I will ask for some help from my family to shift and move things from here and there. So fractions are such an important thing too. Of whole and then cutting into two and then cutting it into four. So I'm going to get them ready for that. Also, bread, butter, jam, cheese. These are the simplest of food things that the child can make at a very, very young age. So we don't have to wait for the children to grow. You have knives which are child safe. Explain to them how to use it, explain to them how to hold it, just like you would do a pencil or a crayon, This should be as natural to the child as a writing or a reading activity, because this is survival. Sometimes you may just be really ill, you may not be able to reach, if I remember when my daughter was really small, she could make a sandwich for herself. Of course, I would not take her to the fire for cooking, that's totally out. But little things which, and when they come into the kitchen, safety norms are the first thing you will teach them. How and what can you touch, and what you would wait for me to help you with. I think it's a very clear norm and it works so beautifully. So hold your knife properly, firmly. Take the butter and apply it from top to bottom. Top to bottom. If you notice, for everything for little children, I try and keep a process. If I feel right to left is easy, we can do that. If the child is left-hander, left to right, you can do that. But if you just teach them how to apply it properly, then the child understands that he can just keep taking a little butter and keep beautifully applying it from one side to the other. And with fold it over, and your sandwich is ready. You now had one slice, and we cut it into half, and we made it into half. Now let's cut it further. Now we have two more halves. Now let's cut it into 4 parts. So we took one. Now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 parts. Okay, let's just cut it further now. Let's again cut it into, let's cut each part into 2. We don't need to teach the concepts like a proper senior class maths, but the child sees one slice, then it has 2 pieces, then it has 4 pieces, and then it has 8 pieces. And now we are going to keep this into this bowl, because we are going to get our recipe ready for the vegetable and the fruit shashlik for the children, right? So there is so much and so easy to do. You can cut it into different shapes. You can cut it into triangles. You can make a square and say, 2 triangles make 1 square. There is so much more to do with it. And it can be as simple as this, and you can happily have your child cooking this little happy meal for you. So the counting is done, the sequencing is done, comprehension, getting the child into a flow and understanding. These are such important parts of getting the child to understand that this is how we can learn how to cook with our parents. I say parents because it is necessary for children to see both the parents coming into the kitchen, helping around the house, doing simple chores together, not just one person getting exhausted. It could be either one, but it's always nice to keep encouraging. We talk about teaching children how to view life as different roles for different genders. Unless they see it in homes, unless they see us in schools just not saying work allotment to any particular thing, it works so beautifully. Clearing up, putting things back properly, arranging things properly are so important. You'll have to excuse a bit of the clutter I have here, because I am wearing my earphones and I can't move around too much, even though I think I would have loved to just be without them. But so a little activity like that, getting ready. So we have the math taken care of, and now the language development. We have been doing language development, but I'll touch it in different, headings. So we touched the social emotional, we've touched, the mathematical concepts. For all the maths teachers who are watching me, I am not aiming to do a perfect math lesson for the children. I'm only trying to enable parents and teachers to make this part of life into take this part of life into different aspects of learning. All right. So in case I have made a little, error here and there, do forgive me for it. If it's a proper maths lesson, we'll do it in a different way. But just to get the concept started, just to get them, to understand the concepts. So now I'm going to introduce them to something interesting. Now, when you do science, so I'm going to do science a little later, but if I want the child to understand directions and I want the child to listen and comprehend, it works beautifully for for the children to also understand that when there is science, vegetables and fruits change form. So when they are raw, they are hard. When they are cooked, they are soft or something. As simple as that also helps the children to understand that forms of cooking, like your baking, your boiling, your frying. So these are little words which can actually come into their day-to-day process so beautifully. So what I did was I'll just get you two ways to do this. So you take a raw potato when you're working with the children and then say, okay, let's try and cut it or mash it. So can we mash it? Oh my God, it's not working that well. And it's really hard to cut. So what do? We boil it in a cooker. Okay, we take a cooker and we pressure and we cook it and we boil it. And now the next activity is making a simple aloo chaat with the children. Festival time, aloo chaat is so good. So what I've done is I've boiled small potatoes. I also feel that when you serve food to children, it should be in the most beautiful dishes that we have. We always serve our children, in just steel or it's always good to also teach them to be careful with things which look beautiful. And it is amazing, they will carry it with two hands. This is where the Montessori comes in, where they say that don't not give the children things, but teach them to be careful. So pick up the pan carefully, place it down, pick up the potato, hold it in your left hand, and peel it. So let's peel it and keep putting the peels in a plate. So peel it and put it down. And see to it that the peels don't fall here and there. When you do the Montessori, they teach you to be very, very specific with instructions. And I think that works for children all over, right? So you peel the potatoes and let them keep putting the potatoes one by one. And then they can chop the potato into two. This is little knife and say, hold it and chop it and place it in the bowl. And then that's the time you tell them that, do you remember the lemon we squeezed? So squeeze in the lemon, so they can actually do the little peeling of the potatoes. When children work, please remember, they are not going to work at your pace. So don't hurry them up. Jaldi karo, jaldi karo. But when the child is to make one little dish of a potato dish, it's going to take the child 2 times the amount of time that you would take to do it. So you have to be patient, because that's where. So now the vocabulary, the fry, the bake, the stirring, the sprinkling. So if you have a little you have a salt sprinkler, say sprinkle it. If you have a pepper grinder, say grind it and sprinkle it. So many words. What did you do? You cut the potatoes into half, you put some lemon, you sprinkle some salt, you sprinkle some pepper, and then you can put in a toothpick or a fork, and you can call all your friends and the family for a special aloo chaat treat. As simple as that. It's give them a tray to serve. Let them hold dishes in both their hands and walk really carefully. and serve it beautifully. In Japan, even tea serving is an art. In India, हम जब खाना परोसते हैं, the way the thali is served is an art. So when you talk about art integrated learning, it can also be food, because food also is eaten by the eyes. You enjoy the flavors of the food with the tongue after the eyes have enjoyed it. So even a layout, artistic layout of food is an art. And I think that's how we have to view this great treasure we have, our kitchen. Look at the amount of things, look at the amount of vocabulary. You have the tap, you have the wash basin, you have the oven, you have the gas, you have the mixie, you have the toaster, you have the bowls, you have the bottles, you have the lids, you have the electric chimney, you have the cupboards, you have the jars, you have the lids, spoons, forks, knives, plates, the sieve, rolling pin, ladles, pots, pans, just name, look at the vocabulary. So look at it for language, look at it for creating this whole wonder of using language. So many times when we teach children words, they may not be able to use those words regularly. But this is a beautiful place where you need to use a process, and you're going to use it 3-4 times in a day. So for language, for oral language, for comprehension, for sequencing. And another beautiful thing that you can do is, after you make a particular dish, you can actually make a small reading wall where the child can see the words. So it also becomes a decoding kind of an activity where they're looking at symbols and saying, oh, we made a shashlik, or we made a sandwich, or we did the potato chaat. So you can actually extend it to uh, first spoken language and then to a reading activity. Even when you make your shopping list, they may not be able to read everything, but they can always identify the first sound. Gradually, as they become 7-8 years old, the reading it just becomes a part of the process. Also, they'll get used to seeing these words again and again. So one way is to do it phonically. So many of the words that you see in the kitchen around you, you can actually keep segmenting them. Like suppose you're going to do a word bottle, so do bottle. You can break them up into syllables. You can break them up into sounds. You can break them up into getting them to listen for the first sound. So depending on which age your children are, this beautiful treasure can actually lend itself to so much for all of us. Reading was used to be my favorite thing with my daughter. I remember all the names of the fruits, the vegetables, the colors, the number of things she saw, the addition, the textures, the full and empty when she was very tiny, opening and closing of lids, the finger movements. All this was what I used to do while, because I used to not have help. So, and I have, a single child. So she would just be with me all the time. And I realized she's actually become a very hands-on adult. So, whatever we sometimes just do unconsciously, because with situations, it just becomes another beautiful thing to do at this point of time is activities with water. There is so much the child can do in the kitchen, pouring into containers, freezing resources, water, maybe a glass of juice put into it and to make ice cubes, and then a happy summertime activity. So there's loads and loads of fun with the children. All right, so we've done social emotional development, we've done maths, we've done spoken language, we've started some amount of reading. Not too much, but some amount of reading. It's definitely a very, very a happy thing to do with children. And now we come to nutrition, talking about simple nutrition. We have to remember that children become what their health is, and their health is what they eat. Also, as they grow, our attitude towards food is going to become their attitude towards food, and it perhaps lasts a lifetime. So what we eat, what we give them even when we are in a hurry, how much of packeted food we are using, how much of frozen food we are using. Even if it's a simple fresh meal, would that be a better option to, give your children? It's, I think, important to think about all of that. That is it, can we not do this? Can we not make things a little easier for ourselves, but at the same time, give them as much healthy food as possible? Give them different kinds of food groups. So they must have the fruit, they must have the grain, they must have the dairy, of course, if they're not allergic, and they must have the proteins. So these are all different aspects of the food and nutrition which they have to know. Then how should we talk about health and hygiene to them in the same breath? That health is so important because we have to eat the right kind of things, and every time we don't have to lecture them, but while we are going or while we are doing, you can do a little, you have these little rhymes that you do, that what are carrots make your eyes, what kind of vitamins it has, and what does a potato have, what do, so just go through these little rhymes, keep them with you, sing them when you can. This is a great cooking and nutrition time for you and the children. It works beautifully. Sometimes, you keep telling the children, oh, you have to eat this, you must do this. And you realize that, my God, I don't do this for myself. There's so many times when you want to drink water and you keep waiting, saying that, okay, I'll drink it after 5 minutes, I'll drink it after 10 minutes, I'll just finish the washing machine, I'll just finish the children. And you realize how little water you actually drink through the day. But if the child actually sees you taking those few minutes off, going there and actually, you know, drinking that glass of water, perhaps the child will become much more conscious than us telling the daughter, the child, that you have to drink 6 glasses of water or 4 glasses of water. So make a conscious effort to make it a part of your rhythm, your routine. I think that works beautifully for children. Also with India, I feel, first of all, global um, food citizenship. Today it's actually fantastic to see the amount of intermixing. So sometimes we call it fast food, but that fast food is the staple food of another country, right? So we can't just say it's all unhealthy. So we have to think about these things, because there's a certain dish that has come from XYZ country, and we say no, 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 this is not healthy food, but that's that country's food. So allow the fact that there are different kinds of food eaten in different climates, different people eat different kinds of food, perfectly acceptable. Also, India is such a rich a cultural heritage. It has got so many states, so many kinds of cuisine, so many kinds of food. I travel a lot, and it's very interesting that sometimes you're just not used to eating another kind of food. So introduce it to the taste from very, very early. Allow the child to develop different tastes, different flavors. Don't say, oh, this is not nice. This small things like, food on the table. I find mothers getting up and running if the child doesn't eat one particular thing on the table. That's what the child is going to become. The child is going to be uncomfortable with different kinds of food, will keep insisting. We've gone on vacations and we've seen people miserable because they don't get exactly that kind of food. So, a good time to develop their taste buds with different kinds of food, and let it become a part of your, maybe not every day, but once in a while. It's very, very nice to have foods from different parts of the world. And please remember, it is all not fast food, it is also food that those countries eat as a staple meal regularly. So very important to do that. I also see a lot of struggle on fruits and vegetables. Children don't eat fruits, children don't eat vegetables. I think it should just be natural. So today, just to help you to make this a little more happy and natural, so I'm going to do a beautiful fruit and vegetable shashlik for you. So it's going to have, so the shashlik list is there. It's going to have a vegetable, it's going to have cheese, it's going to have fruit, and it's going to have a grain. This is going to be a special one, right? So um, encourage the children to help you with whatever they can. So now you have one cube of cheese. We are going to divide it into 9 parts, right? So we cut it 3 times like this, 1, 2, and 3. And then we turn it and we'll cut it 2 times. So 1 and 2. And look how many pieces we have. Let's count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we are going to take a toothpick. The first one thing that you're going to put is a vegetable. Okay, so we are using a cucumber. The second thing you're going to put is a piece of cheese. The third thing, we are going to put a little piece of bread. And then we are going to put an apple. Okay, I have to first taste this and see how is it. Otherwise, we can take away some one odd ingredient. All right, so I hope it tastes good. All right, it tastes pretty nice. So remember, the children can change combinations. They can say, no, we are going to put this first and that. But tell them that, okay, let's follow a sequence. All right. So we have to put a vegetable, a cheese, a piece of our sandwiched bread, and one little fruit. All right. And we are going to try and make this for all the people of our family very, very quickly. So let's get the sequence right. We put the vegetable, we put the cheese, we put the bread, and we put the fruit. All right. So the next one. So the children become faster now. So it's the vegetable, the cheese, the bread, and the fruit. All right. So we have it for 3 people and one more now. So the vegetable, the cheese, we're getting faster. I have my little doggy looking at me and thinking that, oh, some tasty food is going to come. So these beautiful little shashliks are done. And the child is feeling comfortable. The child is feeling like the child has been able to achieve a beautiful dish that the child can serve for the family. I think these are these little things that we must allow them to feel and become a part. So this can be actually served as even when you have guests coming home and very, very happily. So you have one child, the child already with the nimbu pani, the lemonade, the shashlik is done. I was also telling you when you talk about the wonder of science, when you talk about the wonder of helping the children understand that food changes forms, it can be done in such a beautiful, simple manner. Okay, so I am going to do that part for you. I'll just put away my things because that's what we are teaching the children, a place for everything, and everything goes back to the place. Activities like even when you wash all the bottles of your cupboards and you give them to the children to just close the lids to find the matching lids, it's a great activity to have. Okay, so if when you're making your cup of tea, just give them something like, you give your elaichi, give them a kharal, and tell them to pound it for you, and then use it for tea and say, oh my God, the tea tastes tastier. So that it was first a whole and then you powdered it, right? And then you flavored your tea with it. It may not be very, very logically understood by the child, but the child knows that the child was pounding, the child made powder, there's a flavor of elaichi. And when the water, the tea boils, you can see the steam coming out. When mama puts the lid, you can just pick up the lid and say, oh my God, look at the water all around it. So these are just openings for the children that you can actually do. All right. So one little activity, I think we have time for just one more activity. I'd like to do that for you because, when you're getting, so I'm just going to do the movements like, so the pounding, there's a beautiful story, that we do that says that it's a Hindi story from that says कि उल्लू ने खिचड़ी बनाई, दाल डाला, चावल डाला, पानी डाला और उल्टी पुल्टी खर्ची हिलाई. So it went ulti and pulti. So when you stir, you have to stir it round and round. और फिर उसमें नमक डालना भूल गया भाई. फिर उसने सबको बुलाया, बोला आओ आओ खिचड़ी बनाए. फिर उसने खिचड़ी छकी और देखा कि मैं तो नमक डालना भूल गया भाई. फिर उसने नमक डाला और सीधी सीधी कड़छी चलाई और फिर इतनी अच्छी खिचड़ी बनाई और सबको खिलाई. So small little story, but stirring, pounding. When the children, it's very, very nice when they can peel. So tell them how to hold it. Take the peeler and go from top to down. Top to down. Let's not go up and down like that, okay? We'll go up and then we'll come down. We have seen little children do this so carefully that sometimes I may leave a little patch, but the child won't. So peeling is another beautiful activity. These are also readiness activities for the children's fingers, you know, the small muscle development for later for them to actually write, use crayons and things like that, right? So I am going to very quickly show you this one little activity and then we'll wind up for the day and then I'll have a happy cleaning of my kitchen. So just 1 minute, I'll just get it. So we had shown children the fact that something that is cooked changes form, right? So you can actually ask the child to peel this. Where is my, okay, all right. You know, also anything that we do with children, do it with a sense of wonder. Allow them to feel excited about it. Tell them, let it not just be something very mundane. So today, when I was preparing for the session today, my daughter was saying that, you know, how much would you prepare for a session? So I said a lot because I feel it's so important for children to feel the wonder, right? So this was a potato that was not boiled. I tried to mash it. It doesn't mash. I'm going to take a potato that's boiled. So shall we try and mash it so the child can actually use the masher with both the hands and try and mash it, mash it, mash it, mash it. So we mash it. Let's see if we can. So now your recipe for your cutlet and your aloo paratha is getting ready and your child has participated in it by understanding that raw things sometimes need to be boiled to be eaten. Vegetables can be eaten raw, vegetables have to be cooked. Some vegetables can be eaten raw and cooked, some have to be eaten separately. So this is just simple lessons that we do with little children. And now you have those beautiful mashed potatoes. So in this little time, and also proportions, like, you know, if you're using even simple thing like a water bottle, empty bottle, half bottle, full bottle. So getting them to understand measurements, getting them to have a little bit of social emotional development, letting them feel happy, letting them feel involved. There is just so much that you can do with children. Definitely never forget to put up a reading wall because the older ones can learn how to read. Help your children to make your shopping list, help them to calculate, help them to do a little bit of science, a wonder, language. There is so much that can be done, right? So there's some things which I'm seeing that, you know, oh, what's called a thin stick? It's called a shaslik. Or you can just call it a stick kebab, a vegetable stick kebab or a shaslik. I think that's how it is. So, yeah, I'm just looking if there are any questions. I think everybody just said thank you. And I can see some very nice, happy, positive things here. So, on that note, I hope that you all enjoyed this little space that we used for so many kinds of learning, you know. And like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You can do so much more. In this much of time, this is what I could put together. And I think what you can do with your children is so much more. And thank you so much for joining us. And next week, I'm going to have a very exciting, person who works with uh, numeracy and number skills in real life. How many places and ways we can apply maths, because I think that's sometimes we don't realize it. So somebody who's so I in fact today I came into the kitchen because I said, like, somebody is saying you have to show implementation. Just a lecture is not what. So I used to always tell everybody, I don't tell me what to do, tell me how to do it. And that's what I've always tried to do, just to make the how for you. So next week, the wonder of maths, numbers, and numeracy. And thank you so much, and bye bye.
Square, square, panda.